Well, as we wrap this up and finish this up, let's talk about the piece of content that we got announced last week. What do y'all think about our new building coming in next month? You know, Lube made a comment on his stream on Thursday, I think it was, that based on what he knew about the new arc, he thought I would actually be very excited about the new content that's coming in November, and I would give it positive reviews. Now, the only piece of that information we've seen so far is about this new building that's coming out. And I am very skeptical of how much of an impact this is actually going to have. Of course, it all comes down to implementation, so we'll have to sort of wait and see a little bit, but I'm not quite convinced that it's going to have as much of an impact as people seem to think it's going to, but well, let's go take a look at it. Hey, what's up, Chrono? Your server 121 beat my 118 server? You sure did. We were whooping you guys for a while, and then our level 63 just went to bed unshielded. And you guys took him for about 200 trillion. And yeah, that's all it takes sometimes is one player. One player who just, you know, isn't paying attention or whatnot, or has something come up and takes some cold medicine and passes out. I don't know. Retro doesn't know anything about the new stuff? Well, let's catch you up then. Let's catch you up, shall we? Let's go to our news announcement about our new building, the Independent Archives, which, by the way, also spoils the theme of next month's arc, the Q Continuum, Part 1. Ooh, the many faces of Q here. And this is what? McDowell. Malcolm McDowell? Who played Soren in Star Trek Generations. Who, if you noticed over his eyebrow right here, is the little Federation scar or insignia or indentation, which is kind of weird. So how are these two going to intertwine themselves? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Update 72, Q Continuum Part 1. So we're getting a little bit of sneak preview into what's going on here. We heard you, simplifying the Fleet Command experience. So we're putting in a new building, which is going to help reduce repetitive tasks associated with multiple ships and minimize the number of times you have to click on bundles by basically tying them all in together. So for a particular ship, you would just have like a claim all button, and it would just claim everything it's kind of supposed to. And it's going to help simplify these particular new loops. However, let's skip ahead, because here's the 5 new loops. It's for the Botany Bay, the Vidar, the Talios, Voyager, and the Monavine. So they're kind of spreading it out a little bit. I mean, Botany Bay is 18, Vidar is 25, Talios and Voyager are 35. I think Voyager is technically 34, but... And Monavine is 40. So that's when you'll have access to this new content to kind of shorten these new loops. However, that being said, these already have shortcuts in the X-Borg store, right? I don't have to go mine data. I just go buy a bundle. I don't have to go kill Borg probes or hunt Voyager hostile. I mean, the Voyager you still technically have to do because the value on the packs are pretty bad. The Monavine one, I haven't done the Monavine auto grinding in months. I just buy the bundle every couple of days, the 7-day bundle, and I use that for all my refines. Voyager's the only one that you might actually have to go do some grinding once in a while because the value in the packs is pretty bad in terms of getting the additional materials for the refines for the Species 8472 loot. Those payouts are pretty bad. But it's like, okay, so I'm going to spend time going through this new loop, building this new building, getting this new currency, which I need to unlock things that I already have unlocked and shortcuts for. So that's where I don't see where the value is. Now, maybe once they put it in, we're going to see, okay, yeah, great. This doesn't actually, this works this other way, which is going to make this process simpler. Or, hey, I go in and I buy the Talios loot, but when I come back in game and I want to use that loot for the Talios, well, I still have to come here and I still have to, click 4 or 5 times in order to do it. And well, this is going to shorten that, so I only have to do 1 click instead of 5 clicks or 6 clicks or whatever it is I'm doing. Which, sure, that's a little helpful and it'll save a little time. But I mean, what's it going to claim? Currently in our video, yes, they're starting with just these 5 for now. Obviously, at some point in time, they will expand it further to include additional loops. At 60, the only ship it would really help might be the Monivine, but that might be minor help. Yeah. So if we go back to here for a second. So right away on launch day, they're giving you the Botany Bay track as a day 1 gift for all players. Okay. Well, how are we doing that? Simplifying grind, simplifying progression. What are we doing here? So you unlock the tracks. You complete the tasks to meet the requirements. You unlock the achievement pillars using the archive data shards. So there's your new currency. There's your time gate, right? If you have to, you get a X number of shards based on the tasks you complete, or if it's just a daily drip, and then you have to buy packs to accelerate it. Like, why am I going to buy? Oh, I'm personally not going to buy anything, but why are other people going to buy something that's just going to save them on clicks, right? Why are you spending money on a quality of life improvement that probably should be free? I don't know. This is the part where I feel like it's going to get hung up, and this is going to make something that could be a mediocre feature a lot worse, is by depending on how they time gate it. So upon unlocking the final pillar, you master the track, consolidating all endpoint bundles into a single daily claim. So if we go into Beck's video here, let's do this. No, I don't want volume. Somewhere in here, she gives there we go. It's a little blurry because I had to enlarge it, but you kind of see. So like here's your Botany Bay track, right? Whatever you have to do, you unlock these additional tasks. So whatever you have to do to unlock them. Now, if you've used your Botany Bay a lot over the years, like maybe some of this stuff is just going to auto-complete. Or you won't have to do it. You won't have to go mine data because it's like, well, you've already mined 10 million data in your lifetime. You don't have to go back and do more of it. But even looking at some of the buffs. Buffs to improve the cost efficiency of upgrading the Botany Bay. Not going to be useful to anybody over 26. Bonuses to data mining speed. Really not going to be useful to anybody over maybe say ops 28 to 30. Because by then you really don't data mine much anymore after about ops 30 or so. Data mining bonus. So I guess when you mine data and you finish mining the node, you get like that additional bonus loot like we see with gas and crystal and some of these other favors. Again, kind of small, kind of minimal. Lastly, you've got a small increase to just generic mining speed. So this is going to be the part that's universally helpful for everybody else. But small values, I mean, the whole total throughout the whole, assuming, these are just the 6 tiers that you can see. 45, 60, 70, 80, right? 45, 60, 70, 85% to mining speed, to just generic mining speed. It's not much of an improvement when you factor in all the other things, but it's a little bit. It's a little bit better. That'll help make mining go a little bit faster. But that's what the big bonus is. You get these types of things. Okay, maybe there's more. There's a 7th one over here that's got another 30%. So now you're up to over 100. And so on and so forth. When you get to the end tier, you get an avatar. Ooh. And then you also, okay, so we were at, I think we were at 85, and then we get another 90. All right, so an extra 150% mining speed total. That's not bad. I don't know what it's going to cost you or how long it's going to cost you, but unlock all pillars to master the archive entry and collect all of its rewards daily for free. So you can see what you've got going on down here. I wish we could click on this little bundle to actually see what's in it. But it looks like there's a nice little bundle here. Okay, so what do we got in here? So you're just going to come in, you're going to do a daily claim. If this doesn't cost you anything, well, this isn't bad, right? You make one click, and suddenly you just get a bunch of augment credits, independent credits, plutonium, hijacked ship blueprints. Dear God, why? Um, Green data, which you can then use in your refinery to get more stuff, or can you not do that anymore? You get some of the green officer shards on a daily basis. And then she's going to scroll down a little bit, and then there's a few more here. You're getting some of the rares and a couple of con shards. So again, very valuable to players in their 20s and 30s, right? You're sourcing officers, you're sourcing rare officers. These are good, base cracking officers early on in the game. Good for away teams later in the game because, especially with the augments, they have very high stats. So very good for a lot of away team assignments and just having a plethora of officers for below deck missions or things like that. So there's good value here, no doubt about that. But I think we're just going to sort of have to wait and see how this all works. And if we look at this Botany Bay, mine data, exchange them for augment, blah, 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 to increase your standing with the augments and gain access to better rewards, right? That's what we've done that the whole time with that loop. Progressing it to tier 9. Mastery of this part of the archive removes all daily claimable rewards from the store. Okay. So here's what's going to happen now. Here's the final detail that I kind of missed because we went through this pretty quick. Mastery of this part of the archive removes all daily claimable rewards from the store and then combines them into a single free daily claim in the archive. So if you've got your building upgraded and you max out the whole thing, basically you get your Botany Bay to tier 9 and do the thing. When you come over here into your Augment Store, all of these daily claims here for your plutoniums, your hijacked blueprints, your independent credits, your augment credits, your recruit tokens, your boxes and your bundles in here, they all just go away. They're gone. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These 11 things, poof, gone. And now there's only one. And instead of having to do this whole loop and pay these costs, it's now free every day. Okay, that's an improvement. That's not bad. It's not exactly stuff we need, and it's just going to put a lot more currency into your inventory, because why the hell would I want more hijacked ship blueprints that can't be scrapped? Or common and uncommon plutonium, which are only good for upgrading the ships that I don't want to build. But obviously, these officers get turned into transporter patterns on a daily basis for a daily free claim. That's good. The augment credits, well, you don't really need those anymore if you're not doing any of these claims anymore, so I'm not really sure why they're still around. Independent credits for free on a daily basis, that's good too. Does the con avatar option stay? That should stay. The avatars should stay because they're one-time claims. They're not regular claims, right? So there you go. That's what you're building your augment credits up for, is so you can eventually get the faction icon and the con avatar, until eventually you don't need those anymore either. And it's still giving you the green data, because the green data is what you can use over here in the Stella store to get directives to run Stella Eclipse Armadas. So they're still giving you this one, the green data for that. Okay. Now again, the majority of players above Ops 40, Ops 42 have pretty much just sunset that whole mechanic. So I certainly don't see them investing time, energy, resources into leveling that up. And I think the same is going to be true for some of those other bundles and mechanics, right? The regular Vidar, like what's included in that? We'll have to wait and see. Same thing with the other ships. What's included in those refineries? And what universal bonuses are being applied. On paper, the way that they demonstrated it on day one doesn't inspire a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. So maybe they picked the wrong one. They picked the one they're giving everybody for free, the Botany Bay. Everybody's going to get that one. I think we're all waiting to see what's in the other four. So another grind to reduce a grind. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Although you may not have to actually do the grind. If you've already done it and you've already tiered up the ship and things like that, hopefully the game recognizes it and is like, you've already done all this content. Um, you know, some of the field trainings worked that way, right? When they put those in the game, it was like, oh, hey, this already worked. You already did all this stuff. Poof, you're done. Don't worry about it. And then some of them, it was like, hey, you have to go build an Orion Corvette. No, seriously, go build an Orion Corvette. And it's like, I can't build. I don't have the blueprints to build an Orion Corvette. I have to go farm those now. Like, okay, this is a little ridiculous, but I guess that's what we're doing. So they need to give the ability to scrap the hijacked ships. It would give them a little bit more value and make that particular portion of the loop better. Um, so yeah, so that's what's going on with our new building here. And again, it looks a little bit better on paper now that I look at the fine print and see this part right here. And since it involves getting the ship to tier 9, if you already have a tier 9 Botany Bay, hopefully that should just auto-complete all this stuff for you. But I guess we'll find out on Tuesday. I don't think she goes into detail on anything else afterwards. Nope, it's just her signing off. Yeah, so what do you guys think? Does it it's at least a little interesting, I guess. But like many of their ideas, it might come down to implementation and how much of said currency do you need to actually like unlock these upgrade requirements, like the track. What do I have to do to get the material to unlock the tracks? If I have to, because there's something in here about using a currency. Yeah, so it looks a little bit like field training where there's a different number of steps. Basically, it looks like it's going to be for each step is kind of tied to a tier of the ship. Looking at this particular graphic, so Botany Bay and Vidar have 9 tiers. Talios, Voyager, and Monavine have 12 tiers. So I think that's how each one is going to kind of be archived or tied to. So it won't require you to do specific things like go mine a million data. It's just going to be, hey, tier up your Botany Bay. Tier up your Botany Bay. Oh, you've got it at tier 9. Okay, good, you're done. Get your Monavine to tier 12. Get your Voyager to tier 12. Okay, good, you're done. Here's this whole arc. But there's a currency tied to it, and that's the part that they don't really explain, is what is this going to cost? So obviously there's a currency to upgrade the building, and that could be another factor too that might hold you back and might limit you. You might not be able to, maybe I can't complete the Voyager archive until my building is at least level 25 or 30 or something, which might be how they incentivize people to buy packs to upgrade the building faster rather than just waiting for a daily drip to then get those additional higher level rewards. It would fit the pattern of how they've done things in the past, right? There's got to be something tied to the level of the building. There's got to be some way for them to monetize it, right? And this seems like a good way to do it. Hoping it helps smaller players, of course, of course. Obviously, players, this is more aimed for them, kind of helping the players move through the 20s and 30s a little bit quicker with some of these, the Botany Bay and the Vidar getting these upgrades, and depending on some of the other upgrades for Voyager and, Talios could help also transition through the mid 30s into the low 40s. And just get them extra officers, extra resources faster and not take up as much of their daily time. I like that aspect of it. I guess we'll see just how practical it is. Moose, hey, what's up, Moose? You hope it auto completes it? Yeah, I mean, it should based on the tier. So as long as you still have a ship, like you didn't like scrap your Voyager. I don't even know if you can, but I think that's why they picked all the specialty ships, right? So everybody should have one. It's not like you could scrap any of those ships. Like they didn't put the Franklin in there, you noticed, right? They didn't put the Franklin in because most people would have already scrapped their Franklin to make their Franklin A. And it's like, well, now I got to go back and level up a new Franklin to auto-complete this other thing. Yeah, that's not happening. But maybe we'll get, I don't know, maybe we'll get Discovery added to it. Maybe we'll get something else thrown in there. Disco would be nice. Maybe. Maybe that'll be next. Maybe that'll be down the road. Yeah, there's not really a loop for that though, right? There's one event every Sunday, and it takes about 3 minutes to complete, and that's kind of your disco mechanic. Ogilvy says you're happy for anything that shortens time in the game. I think we would all agree with that. The time gates and paywalls for the other tracks seems petty. That's what we're going to have to wait and see exactly what those restrictions and time gates are and how long it's really going to take for players to unlock the benefits. You know, if you're in your 50s and you've got a tier 9, tier 10, Talios or Voyager or something like that, how long is it going to take you to actually get to the point where you can get the benefits of having that ship already? And if it's, well, you have to, either spend $200 or $300 buying packs to upgrade the building to X level, that's not going to fly. And if you're thinking about, oh, well, I have to do this daily drip, getting enough of this currency to get to the building to level 30 or whatever it is that I need it to be, that's going to take me 4 months or 5 months to get there. Well, then again, this thing isn't saving me time right now. It'll save me time in April when I can actually use it to my benefit to get to the things that are appropriate for my higher ops level. So, and maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay that it's one of the pieces of content not necessarily aimed at the higher level players. Everything in the game in the last 8 months has pretty much been 40 plus, 40 plus. Maybe here's something that's aimed at 25, 20 to 40 players in those ranges, the G3 community. We're going to give them a little bit of a benefit. And then, the higher level players, well, there'll still be something for them too. It'll just take them longer. They'll be the ones waiting for a change. Whereas the G3 players have been pretty much waiting until they got to 40 to do some of this new content. Well, now the higher level players are going to have to wait their turn. That seems reasonable. That seems fair. That seems fair.